Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome. What a lovely day it is still. Now, before they finish, let's give a big hand to the Brownfield Burn Quintet. Well done, lads. Lovely. Lovely. What could be better? Lovely sunshine, lots of plants to buy, band playing away. Beats work, doesn't it? Marvellous. Well, all day today we're inviting different guests to come down and tell their story. And now this is a really true story, because did many of you watch the Great Allotment Challenge? For Christ's sake, all put your hands up. That's it, well done. And as much as you hate to see them go, you had to have a winner. And the winner this year, and what a credible garden he produced, or allotment, whatever you call it, a big hand, Rob Smith. So Rob, lovely to see you. And we haven't seen, oh no, we saw each other last week at Boulder, didn't we? But it's been a bit of a whirlwind. We'll get on to the programme in a minute, but a bit of a whirlwind since then for you. So what's been happening?
Yeah, I went to the Edible Garden Show, I've been to Boulder, I went to Chelsea for the opening day. That was amazing, apart from the weather to start with. And then just different talks I've been doing. Just launched a book last week, my first little ebook, so that's on companion planting and different sprays. So if you're interested,
did I hear you say you've just launched a book?
Yeah. What did I say?
And it was called again?
It's called Homegrown, Homemade, and it's on companion planting and how to keep pests away, and just homemade sprays, so you don't have to go and pay a tenner from the garden centre when you can make it with something out of your cupboard, and it does the same thing.
Absolutely brilliant. And you still got a day job?
Yeah, still got the day job, still.
And that's very different.
Jetting around the world.
Tell us a bit about that.
I work for an airline, so I'm cabin crew for an airline for the last nearly 18 years now. So the other day I went to see Jim, and I just got back from Miami the day before, and then I'm off to New York. I'm off to New York on Monday, so it's a little bit different to being on the allotment and digging away. So it certainly keeps you grounded, doesn't it? No pun intended.
Yeah. I finish here and I'm judging in Hackney on Monday. Nothing wrong, they're lovely people.
I was going to say she's happy.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I made the mistake. Thane was on earlier, and she's a serious Arsenal supporter. Didn't I drop it in? Because who did they whack? Aston Villa, who's one of the, oh God, no. Well, they were very unlucky, Aston Villa, if there's any support. But so that takes you away quite a lot, does it? How did you work it? Did you different shifts or what in order to do the allotments?
It was done with work, so that I'd be away, I'd fly, I'd be away, and then when we were filming or when we had to be down, they'd be my days off. Yeah. So I'd go away and then come back, and then that's how they'd do it. So that I'd fly, come back to the allotment, fly, come back to the allotment, and after 5 months have a break.
And presumably once up near London. Isn't you that guy in a Great Allotment Challenge?
Yeah,
I bet you get a lot of
weird.
that. So, where does the actual love, where does the gardening love come from? Don't tell me it's Grandad.
Yeah.
And we all had a Grandad that did it.
Yeah, Grandad. He had a massive back garden. He didn't have an allotment, but he used to grow everything in his own back garden, like an allotment.
Yeah.
And I started as child slave labour, basically, with a fishing net, trying to catch all the cabbage white butterflies. I used to get a sweet for every cabbage white butterfly I caught. So as a 5-year-old, you're running around bashing things to death, and you didn't realise I'd just knocked all his onions down.
Yeah.
He's very mental, but I've got 3 butterflies.
Yeah, and 3 sweets.
Yeah, exactly, and a good idea.
So from then onwards, it didn't leave you.
Yeah,
you know?
No, just carries on growing a little bit. So there's a tiny little piece of land down the side of my mum's house, about maybe a little bit short, a little bit longer than this table, a bit thinner, and I used to put radishes in it and different bits and anything I could. Bit of ivy, which is still there now, growing everywhere, gone mad. Yeah. And then runner beans, just anything I could get my hands on to put in the dirt to grow.
But obviously, as I say, work in the job that you do, it must be very difficult with the seasons and trying to fit everything in.
Yeah, this time of year is the worst, because if I'm away for 4 days, my allotment, there's no one watering it, so I've got to make sure I either use methods of watering to keep things alive, or they've got to be hardy enough to actually survive.
Yeah.
Till I get back and then give them a good drink. But I can't have things like when we were on the show, we've got the leaky hose. I haven't got a leaky hose, so it's got to cope or die.
Right. And it's a big allotment or what?
Yeah, it's 1.5 standard allotment, so it's probably it's bigger than this marquee for all of it, and about another third of this marquee.
And of course, one of the things that you brought to that show, which was different, was all the heritage varieties. You're very passionate about that.
Yeah.
And it was a competition. There is a lot of pressure on you to get it right. But he goes one step further and gets stuff that not a lot of people grow. And he's not only thinking, I hope this is going to work and I hope they like it. So I really took my hat off to you. I remember that with the cucumbers.
Yeah, the yellow cucumbers.
Do you remember the yellow cucumbers? Unbelievable. So how did you actually get selected, or how did you go about getting on to the actual show?
Basically, I'd been on Twitter, just having a little look and putting things that I'd cooked or made or preserves or anything on Twitter for the 3 people that followed me, just because you can nowadays.
Yeah.
And I got a little message from a friend saying, "This looks up your street," and it was like the little adverts you get for different things. It said, "Do you grow your own veg?" Yeah. "Do you make things with your own veg, preserves and that?" Yeah. "Do you flower arrange?" No. So the nearest I've got is flowers in a jam jar.
Yeah.
Stick them in a jam jar and stick them on the table. They look nice, don't they? I've never done. The first one, the little basket we had to make, baffled me, and then suddenly we've got to do a great floral arch and all the rest of it. But I'd never done that, so I phoned them, sent an application form off. They phoned me up and said we had a little chat, and they said, "Do you want to come down to London to the studios and we'll do a little screen test and everything?" So I went and did that. I had a lovely day out in London, spent an hour doing that. Went home. They said, "Well, you'll know in a couple of days if you've got a place or not, or what's going on." I was on the train on the way home and they phoned me and said, "Yeah, you're in."
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So that was a
because where Alex, you remember Alex from the first series? See him there? And that was another incredible story. His mate Ed, that he was, it's all about his children or whatever, I can't remember. And he was like all dads, going around to his daughter, doing some work for her, it's all dads do. And he's listening to, "Oh dear, oh no, oh dear, oh what a shame, what a shame." And basically, cut the story finish. The guy that Ed was going to do it, he basically lost his bottle and he pulled it. And his daughter said, "Oh, Dad'd do that." And literally, he had 24 hours to make up his mind, and what a cracking job the 2 of them did. It's amazing, isn't it? So, you got onto the programme,
Yeah.
and then did you have to do tests down there, or you just signed up and came down?
No, they said, "Do you want to do it?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm up for it." And then we got the pack through with all the things we had to grow, so that you'd select about all the different veggies and the fruits and the backup things and the flowers and all that we had to grow to get noticed. And then they said, "Right, go and buy everything that you want. We'll come and collect it and take it down there." And I've not seen it, didn't know anything about it until we pulled up. And they took us the long way, so we couldn't see the house or the gardens or anything. And kept us not blindfolded, but we weren't allowed to look. I think it was to the right, so we're all walking as if we're a bit half drunk, trying to not look that way. And then we turned around and suddenly we walked in, and the shot that you see of us when we actually first walk into the gardens and we're all going, "Oh wow, look at this," that's the first time we'd ever seen it, and it's amazing, that place.
And it was filmed at a place called Maple Durham, which is just outside Cavenham near Reading. And it's a lovely stately home, or a National Trust property, but the wall garden, what a brilliant setting, but it had gone. The BBC napalmed the area, no sorry, that's not the right word, but you know what I mean. They flattened it, and then people were saying to me, "Well, that's not how I got my allotment. When I arrived, there was cooch, nettle, thistle, mare's." I said, "Well, hold on a minute. We'd had 6 bloody weeks of weeding. We wouldn't have done anything else." So they did get a bit of the stuff, but everything else they did themselves from March, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, April you started.
April, that's
April,
right.
beginning of April, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And then
the cold and the wet.
People often said the only help all of them had, first series and second series, they had a professional gardener there, would water when they weren't there, and would ventilate. And then you get a call to say, "You better get down here, mate. The rabbit's done this, somebody's done that, somebody's done that." But everything, the highs and the lows, was down to them. And a lot of people used to say, "Well, they're crocodile tears." They became buddies. They were all helping each other out. They were all working with each other, and they were as gutted for the other ones to go out as they were pleased they'd still hung in. So it was all genuine. So you know what were the and there are low spots. We all know that gardening's not that easy, is it? We love it, but there's something that's always going to. What were the real low spots for you in that series?
I think I'd done when we were growing the lilies for the candelabra, and I'd had these amazing lilies. They were huge. They were dinner plates, and they were 2 weeks too early. and they were gorgeous. And do you know, you can see them starting to fade, and I'm thinking, well, these aren't going to be in 2 weeks. And they were massive, and I've got pictures of them on there. I think it shows you on one of the programs. You just see them. You see like a fleeting one where I'm in the greenhouse just showing them, and then suddenly it comes to my week, and I've got these tight closed buds because the best ones have come and gone. And you've got things like that. And then we were supposed to be showing in week 2. You'd selected strawberries for us, hadn't you? And because it was such a warm summer, we'd all picked late ripening strawberries, so we should have had all those ready for that week, and they'd come and gone. We've been eating them, we've been freezing them, and we were supposed to show 10 perfect, huge strawberries, and I think we've got about 6 between us all, haven't we?
Yeah. And ironically, you remember the lad that went out in the first, Matt, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Poor little Matt that went out. The garden with a computer. I love all that. I'm a dinosaur. And bless him, do you remember when he was doing the zinnias and he put that cardboard box on there, and I thought, no, he's not going to last that kid. But funnily enough, he went that week, he had the best strawberry patch of the lot. Yeah. But of course, you can't go and nick his and say they're mine. So, what did we use in the end? Was
the cucumbers.
The cucumbers.
Yeah, that worked out well for me.
And you had a few pests and diseases as well, didn't you?
Yeah, I had rats in the potatoes,
yeah.
Big rat holes everywhere, and it was like a cartoon. You'd see the potato, and it looked like when you see a cartoon apple that's been eaten. And it had been nibbled all the way round. I got half my zinnias had gone with slugs, they'd eaten them. That pheasant that was always there ate most of the peas. But luckily I'd spread them out. I'd not put all my peas in one area, I'd done 3 beds. So 2 of them.
All your peas in one basket.
But yeah, that thing was a nightmare.
But that is, the pity of it was, I'm not knocking nobody, but that's some of the things everybody wants to see. Because they think, how did he get out of that? How did he do that? It's not all success, there's failures. You learn from it, obviously. But a lot of high spots. I mean, that cauliflower.
That purple one, yeah.
Honestly, it's unbelievable. And people say to you, when you're judging 8 rocket science, at the end of the day, you're looking at one about this big, and there's one that you know the winner straight away. And so do you when you're looking at home. And it's like judging in there yesterday. Certain exhibits there, you don't have to go through the procedure. Gold medal, move on. The easiest medal is the gold medal, because if there's nothing wrong with it, if everything's perfect, it's when you've got to go down the silver gilt, and you've got to go to silver, and you might go down to bronze. Then you're looking at everything just as more vigorously than you would for something that's perfect. But it all came good, and since then, as you say, you've started something else as well. Did you tell everybody you've got a book come out?
I mentioned that.
No, I didn't so. But working with a seed company and doing anything?
That's coming later in the year, yeah. There's going to be stuff to do with that. And I'm going down to see, to Brighton, to Garden Organic and the Heritage Seed Library, trying to see about getting some of the really rare ones that the Seed Guardians have been great, but actually getting them back into retail so that people like us guys can actually buy them rather than it just being 130 of us during the year trying to grow something that's so rare, breed it up and actually get those seeds out to people. Then once you've got one seed, you'll never run out, because they're heritage ones. Every seed that comes from that plant will be true to form, so you'll never have to buy them again. So actually getting these ones that our grandparents used to grow, or the older ones that have got the taste, that have got everything that we want as amateur gardeners. Like if you're growing a cucumber, you don't want a cucumber plant that gives you 20 perfect cucumbers in 1 week, because what do you do with it? Yeah. You don't know what to do. You want one that gives you 1 a week for 2 months. So you don't mind that you've only got 8 on it, but you've got 1 a week, and that's about how many you can eat.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's the thing, and then you keep a few seeds, you go for next year.
Because one of the other things, I mean, in the old days, my granddad, rows and rows of, you look like a bloody rabbit after about 3 weeks, or they bolted, or they went to seed. Yeah. Successional sowing and planting now, particularly things like these veg troughs with the raised bed system as well, it's absolutely brilliant. Yeah. But so that's a great thing, because God, it's a funny old world, isn't it? Stuff's been around, it loses a bit of flow, it loses a bit of popularity, and then suddenly somebody tweaks it, and back we are in again with it. So that's brilliant. And earlier today, some of the other team were here as well, and we had a little reunion. No, I'm really chuffed for you. So, have you been out and bought anything today?
I have. I've got a couple of big peonies to put in the front garden, and some lilies down there, and got some ordered and that, but yeah, it's been a nice day.
Brilliant. Yeah. And have you got any other programs lined up, or
we're thinking about trying to do something about the heritage side. So going around, so a lot of stately homes and a lot of National Trust places have a lot of things that we don't know about. They've got so many that they'll have grown it for years, since they're 18 whatever, but because the garden's been there since then and it's kept producing, they keep the seeds and they carry it on.
And where did you, because you've obviously got a love for that, where did that actually come from? Was it because of all your travels around the world, or what?
I think it's, well, yeah, you go to places like, when I go to India or when you go to Africa, anywhere like that, they don't have the F1 varieties. They do in the modern cities, but the farmers or people that are growing stuff, normal people, they harvest it, they harvest the seeds, and they keep it going. And that's what most of our food is. It's only because we've become so specific that we want certain traits that that seed companies have made these seeds. If there wasn't the demand for it, we wouldn't have it. But they've all got their benefits. But I don't see why we should be dictated to by a seed company about what we can grow.
Yeah.
Don't tell me I don't want to grow that. I might want to, so give me the option.
Yeah.
So that's why I bring the old ones back. If they don't do well, they don't do well. There were that many of them, you go on to the next one.
And I'm fascinated, when you go on these, these runs, how long is it a quick turnaround, or do you get a couple of steps? I always thought you just fly in, get your head down, and then come back again.
That's what I like to think. No, it's normally between 24 hours is the shortest, and when we go to Sydney, we're away for 9 days. So go to Hong Kong, a few days in Hong Kong, have a look around there. Go to Sydney, a couple of days there. Back to Hong Kong, a couple of days there. Fly home.
Good life, isn't it? I'll tell you, I'm going to Hackney on Monday. But so are you back again this way, or is this you done now, or are you coming back again?
No, that's it. Me here today.
And where is home for you?
Sheffield.
Sheffield. There's nothing wrong with that.
There you go.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah, it's not too far.
A lovely botanic garden there, haven't they?
Yeah,
Sheffield, fantastic garden. I judged Sheffield for Brittany in Bloom. Oh, the way they've done that city out, I think, what do they call them, the two old ladies that used to do the cleaning of the spoons and that? That's it. Are they still there this year?
They're sat on the end there, them two. That's my mum, by the way, just in case you think I'm
No, bless her. So, for people starting out, people are going to get an allotment. What would you be sort of basic things? Because that's how you started. What did you, would you try to achieve? What would you say were the core things you've got to do if you're going to get an allotment for the first time, albeit that it's not ready, you've got to work in? What are the core sort of things you'd be?
I'd say the main thing is, if you want an allotment, what do you want an allotment for? Do you want it to just have a pot around at the weekend, grow bits and bobs, take things home and you can eat, and you want to do other things in the meantime and at the weekend and stuff? So you don't want a full allotment, you want a half or a quarter, something that's manageable. If you want to be more sustainable, you go for a full one or more. But then it's the work, then you are there every weekend, especially in the summer, you're there nearly every night watering. So if you like gardening and it's a passion, go for that. If you just want it for the odd bits and bobs, you don't have to do too much in the winter and all the rest of it, go for a half, go for a quarter, or get one between a couple of you. A couple of people on the street, get one between you, share it between you. So that's the easiest thing to do. And then, like you said, if it's a nightmare, cover it all. Cover it, let all the weeds die off, and then all you've got to do is pick out the perennial ones the next year and just work a little space at a time to get it going.
Absolutely right. What do people do? They get it, they start one end, by the time they got the other end, they've lost all interest in it, broken their back, and they produce one lettuce out of it. Just take a little bit, work that bit, cover the rest with polythene or whatever you think, industrial polythene, and just work that bit. The success from that will spur you on to do the next bit. And you're absolutely right now, Rob. They're giving people small plots to start, and if they get going, we were down at, you were there with us at Bowood, and there's at the moment there's a lot of politics, as you know, involving allotments. They're trying to find reasons why they don't want them. We know why they don't want them, don't we? But there's a lot of wonderful people out there. We met them that are, there was somebody from Barnet, wasn't there? Yeah. There was somebody else from another. The oldest plot in the country. Oh, it goes back to
1748 or something.
1748. They asked me if I judged that when it was first opened. But they are under threat. I mean, allotments are incredible places. People become really pally with each other, help each other out. If they've got a glut, they give it to their mates, or vice versa. You're going on holiday, somebody will walk for yours, you'll do it for them. It's a wonderful way of life, it really is.
Yeah.
And as I say, I think you and the rest of the team really brought it home to people. The trouble is with a lot of these television programmes, no disrespect, it's not real people. These are real people and they're doing what you want to do as well. We're sorry the programme's finished, you know, it's just one of those things, the BBC are launch themselves, but we're looking at possibly having another crack at it next year. Jonathan and I are very keen to do it. And when you said you weren't very good at flower arranging, or you didn't do a lot of it, you knew the vegetables you had to grow for me, obviously. It's no good turning up and I said, we're going to do carrots. And you said, well, I haven't grown any. Likewise, you knew what you had to do for Lady Preserve, for the you know, the chutneys and what have you. What you didn't know was what Jonathan had got up his sleeve. Yes, you knew you had to grow flowers. And the first time they knew about it was when they lined up on the shooting gallery there. So Jonathan, what have you got them to do? Well, I want them to make a topiary, and their little face. And I'll tell you, I'll take my hat off to all of you. I mean, and you'd obviously got a flair for that, because I mean, you scored quite well on that, didn't you?
Yeah.
And the
I really enjoyed that. I never thought, I've always been of the mind, if you can't eat it, I'm not going to grow it. Because I've always thought you should be able to grow it, eat it, and that's it. And since doing that, I've had such an appreciation for flowers, and I've got 2 big beds of flowers now in the allotment. You can do stuff with them, but it surprised me how much I enjoyed it. Because I've always thought, yeah, they look nice over there, but actually bringing them in or doing something with them, it's really good. It's really enjoyable.
And of course, who was the other lovely then? Was it Rekha?
Rekha.
Yeah, the Indian lady. She grew to feed her family. She grew vegetables. She'd do a bit of chutneys, and she did some cracking so often, because anyway. But flower arranging, not her scene. But no, she had a go at it, didn't she?
Yeah.
She
hated using the room. She hated using the space for flowers, didn't she?
Exactly.
She could have done something. She could have eaten.
Yeah. But we all bring something to the table that's different, and that's what it's about. Ladies and gentlemen, lovely to see these proper people here. Big hand, Rob Smith. Thank you. Right on. Now we're going to look at me crib sheet. Coming up at 4 o'clock, Adam Frost. He was the garden designer, and we'll be talking a lot about the Home Base Academy that he's responsible for.